Sebastian Cou wears number 1. Number 2 is Steve Scott. Number 3 is the world record holder indoors, Eamon Coughlin. Number 4 is Wilson Wegwa of Kenya. Number 5, Chuck Aragon, America. Number 6, the pacemaker Bob Ben of Great Britain. Number 7, the American who runs for Harry Gay in this country, Craig Masbach. Number 8 is Tom Byers, the American who caused a shock a couple of years ago when as pacemaker in Oslo he ran away with the race and beat Steve Ovett. Then Brian Theriot wears 9, United States. Number 10 is Mike Gilchrist of New Zealand. Number 11, Mike Boyd, the famous Kenyan. Number 12 is Pat Scammell of Australia. And number 13, the Scottish record holder, who now runs for Wolverhampton and Bilston, Graham Williamson. 4 laps of the track. And the world record, of course, held by Sebastian Cou at 3:47.33. Steve Scott's second fastest mile in history was 3:47.69. The lineup from the inside will be Brian Theriot on the inside, the athletes just being introduced to the crowd, and there is a tremendous atmosphere. The meeting not particularly well attended tonight. There's some 7,000-8,000 here, but they're the true enthusiasts, and this race is going live to America. Brian Theriot will line up on the inside, and Wilson Wegwa, the Kenyan who is the 3A's 5,000-metre champion. Mike Boyd is next to him, his fellow Kenyan. Then in the 4th position, Graham Williamson, the Scottish record holder. He's wears 13. Then the American record holder, the second fastest miler in history, number 2, Steve Scott. Number 12, Pat Scammell of Australia. The 6th right in the middle of the lineup is Bob Ben of Croydon, who'll make the pace. Number 1 is Seb Cou, right alongside Bob Ben. Then Chuck Aragon, United States. Tom Byers, who is second in the American Championships. What a welcome and what support Sebastian Cou's got here tonight. Coming, though, to this race unbeaten in miles since the Ensley Car Mile in 1976. But the fact is he hasn't run very many, but when he has, he's usually broken the world record. In fact, of course, he also comes to this race having been beaten in the metric mile at 1,500 metres in his last 2 races. Completing the lineup, 3rd from the outside, Eamon Coughlin, the world indoor mile record holder. Then Mike Gilchrist of New Zealand, and right on the outside it should be Craig Masbach. Anyway, they're clearly not lining up in the order as drawn, because the 2 Kenyans have now taken up positions on the outside. Steve Scott, who in many people's view is the favourite tonight. But it's Graham Williamson, front runner extraordinary. That was a marvellous mile he ran recently in Edinburgh and wind when he did 3:52. Number 12 is Patrick Scammell of Australia. That's Bob Ben. So often makes the pace to Steve Ovett. Seb Cou looking very relaxed and thoughtful. Craig Masbach is 7. 5 is Chuck Aragon. There's Eamon Coughlin in the green shorts of Ireland. Tom Byers, second in the US Championships. Mike Gilchrist, the New Zealand number 1. Well, that's an exaggeration, I should say. Number 2, perhaps, because John Walker's here tonight. He wouldn't agree with me, but he runs in the 800 metres final tomorrow. Mike Boyd there wearing 11, and number 4, the rather temperamental Wilson Wegwa. You're never sure what he's going to do. The international mile. 4 laps of the track. And straight away Bob Ben goes off very quickly, and Brian Theriot, and there's some pushing and barging, and Cou got knocked as well. So Bob Ben settles down. A big field this of 13 going into that first bend, but Cou's settled down now in 4th place, just being overtaken on the outside by Mike Boyd. In 3rd place, rather. So the order now, Bob Ben leads, Craig Masbach in 2nd place, Boyd is 3rd, Cou is 4, and 5 is number 10, Mike Gilchrist. A word now from Brendan Foster.
You can actually feel the tension even just sitting in the stands watching this race. I mean, Seb Cou's got tremendous pressure on him. He's got a great field of athletes around him, and he's got Steve Scott probably in the best form of his life. You've got the pacemaker carrying along Craig Masbach way ahead of them, and I just feel that Cou's really got him stamped his authority on this race tonight, because they're all looking for his scalp. And there's someone's fallen down on the track. There's 2 people on the track, and there's 1 on the inside.
Well, someone's still down there. And in fact, Brian Theriot was one of the fallers, but he's back and running, and it's Pat Scammell, I think, who's out of the race. Tom Byers had a bad knock as well, and this is a big field for a mile, far too many, and in fact, they're not following the pace. Now, Sebastian Cou's found himself really being a pacemaker for the leading group in his last 2 races, which may not have been good tactics.
Well, if Seb isn't careful and he leaves himself in the lead in that second group, when the pacemaking group falls out, he could be in serious trouble. They're now glancing over the shoulders to see who's still there, but Cou's in 5th place, and poised behind him is Steve Scott from America.
The two leaders, Ben and Masbach, and you can't take liberties with Masbach. He's getting too big a lead. Steve Scott is leading the chasing group now with Mike Ford just behind him. Cou is there, Graham Williamson is there, Eamon Coughlin is there, so too Wilson Waigua as they go through 800 metres in 1:56.03. It's outside a world record schedule, and Ben's dropped out, leaving Masbach in front, and the gap has closed right down. Masbach leads. Steve Scott in 2nd place. Seb Cou is 3rd. Now Seb Cou's been out sprinted in short sprint finishes, and it's slowed right down now. It's become purely tactical. And Eamon Coughlin comes through. Graham Williamson gets off the curb. Mike Boyd is right behind them. And Steve Scott now left out in front. 600 metres left. What thoughts must be going through Sebastian Cou's head at this moment, knowing he's been beaten in 2 sprint finishes in the last month? What does he do? How soon does he go? Scott leading. Masbach on the curve. Cou with it. Williamson there as well. He's trapped on the curve. He'll have to get out of that position. And Williamson burst through. Well, he came storming through right on cue. Graham Williamson makes the long kick for home. Takes Steve Scott with him. Sebastian Cou in 3rd place. Coughlin 4. Boyd is 5. Masbach 6. Waigua 7. 2:58.37 at the bell. So Williamson has made it a race now. A committed front runner with Steve Scott, the American champion and record holder, in 2nd place, and the world record holder Sebastian Cou 3rd. What is the point of attack? Williamson surging as he always does, gritting his teeth, but Scott has superior speed. Scott goes through, and he's there to be shot at if Sebastian Cou's got anything left. And Cou finding it difficult to pass Williamson on that bend. It's an awkward gap now for Cou to come round Williamson, and Scott has 2-3 metres. Now here comes Sebastian Cou on the outside. Can he kick? No, he can't. Cou is tying up slightly, and Scott has increased his lead. Scott comes away 5-6 metres, and the American record holder proving his point tonight that he is the miler of the moment. Wins in 3:51.57. In 2nd place, Cou. 3rd, Williamson. 4, Coughlin. 5, Masbach. 6 was Boyd. 7 was Waigua. 8 was Byers. And at the time, for the last 440 yards, 53.1. So Cou has now been beaten in 2 different ways, with the short sprint finishes of Gonzalez and Zdravkovic, and now with the sustained speed of Steve Scott from the 200-metre mark. Scott really put his head on the line there, because he took it on very, very early after Williamson had kicked for home. Took it on at 200 metres out, but he ran the finish out of Sebastian Cou, and it may well be that Sebastian Cou has made a good decision just to concentrate on one race in Helsinki. At the same time, though, I know that Brendan Foster and many others feel that he should go and run the 1500 as well, because he's got a real medal chance of that, more than most.
Steve Scott, USA #1. Well, he really looked as though he was going to enjoy this race. We saw him talking at lunchtime, and he was getting excited when he heard that that Sebastian Cou and maybe even Steve Cram were going to run. He looked as though he was willing this race to be in position. He let the race go on, and he did everything right, absolutely everything right. He's the man in form, and what a scalp he's got tonight, Sebastian Cou. There's